before, just so that everybody gets here. I can see a lot of you are already here. You were here before me. Please let me know that you can hear me okay, just so the audio is coming through. Let me know in the chat. We're going to start in 2 minutes. So if you're ready to watch, make sure there's no distractions around. Make sure you can see everything. You're going to need a notepad and pen for tonight, because I'm going to ask you to think about some things on your LinkedIn activity. So make sure you've got everything there. Welcome, Lara, Carol, Sujith, Salvador, Lara from Bradford, Paul, John, great, people can hear me. Tom, great, wonderful. So you're going to need notepads and pens. I'm gonna to scribble some things down, because I want to get you to think. I want to take LinkedIn to a different level than maybe you've had. Maybe you've had LinkedIn training before. I promise you, you will never have had LinkedIn training like this. And if you want the tutorials for some of this, I'm going to give you the link to just go and get access to that. I'm going to give you a link so you can go and get access to it. So Sarah, Tom, welcome. Birmingham, so Harrogate, brilliant. Worcester. Will you need to turn off your PlayStation for this? Yes. We're going to start in 1 more minute. We'll just wait for everybody to get here. If you're watching on LinkedIn, your chat comes through here too. We're broadcasting live across Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and somewhere else. So Natalie's there. Kansas City. Natalie, I love Kansas City. I love the Jack Stack's barbecue restaurant, Jack Stack's. So we're going to crack on with tonight's session. So thank you so much for coming. I've got an hour to cram in a ton of stuff. So anything that I have to skip tonight from time, I'm going to put an email address on screen and say, if you want this bit, you can go get it. So there's a couple of PDFs I'm going to share tonight. There's a couple of tutorial videos I'm going to send to you. And also, if you've got, I better warn the team here, just so you're aware, team, at the end of this, I'm going to offer everybody a free 20-minute LinkedIn coaching session. So if you're watching this live, Terry's in the chat, I think, and Jack's monitoring the feed. Just be aware, 1,500 people registered for this. So all of our LinkedIn coaches, you better be ready, because people are going to need it, because there's a lot we're going to go through. Hans from Salzburg and Toronto, awesome. And Prashant from London. So just what we're going to cover in the hour. So first thing, I'm just going to do the introduction, just so you know who the hell I am. If you want to find me on LinkedIn and come and connect with me, that's cool. I'm then going to ask you a series of questions. I want you to write them down, because this is really important as you go forward. If you're going to make LinkedIn work, you need to know the answers to these questions. I'm then going to go, how quick can you achieve a sale? I'm going to teach you the strategy, and then I'm going to teach you how to write a lead generation post, a post that will get you leads if you implement it tomorrow. So this is a lot to go through in a short space of time. If you've got any questions, hi Jason, hi Christopher, hi Helena, hi Jamie, hi Ken, hi Jill, hi Tom. So if you've got any questions, put them in the chat and we will go through them either as we go or at the end. So first things first, if you've never heard of Maverick, we've been around for 7 years. We are a social selling strategy and sales company. We help people grow their revenue, their margin and their profit, and we do it through digital channels. So that's who we are. We do these events every week. They're free. And some people go, do you know what, Maverick, I need your help. And they come into our intensive programs where we help them get results in 90 days. So this is me, Dean Seddon. I'm the founder of the business. You can find me on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me a connection request if you want to. If there's anything that after tonight you go, I wish I've asked that question, you can ping me a DM on LinkedIn. Don't all do it at once. But if you do, I'll come back to you and give you some tips and answers. So, should say this. So who do we work with? Salespeople, business owners, marketers, We're not an agency. So we're not a marketing agency. We're not trying to sell you marketing services. What we do is we work with you to generate sales. So you do the work, we make sure you do it, we hold you accountable and make sure you actually do what you say you can do to get to the result. And it works. Anyway, so here's the questions I need you to think about for your LinkedIn activity. So if you've got that piece of paper, please write them down because these are really important. And there's more people joining. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Dana. Hi, Jacqueline. Hi, Define Marketing. Oh, David Pell. Hi, David. Bristol, David Pell, I think he is. Hi, Nicola from Manchester. So how much is a sale worth? Now, the reason I'm asking you this is because if you want a specific result from LinkedIn, you have to get specific and know what you're looking for and what you're developing. And when I sit down with clients and I say, we're going to do a strategy call now, what's the sale? How much is a sale worth? They go, oh, well, every sale's different. But you have to have a target. So what's the target product or service that you're going to sell and how much you're going to sell it for? If you're too vague on LinkedIn, you end up with wishy-washy inquiries and you can't build a repeatable process. So how much is a sale worth? And let me just bust a myth. It's LinkedIn, unlike Facebook, it's actually easier to, same amount of effort to sell £5,000 worth of stuff as 500 quid's worth of stuff. So if you're selling something for £100 on LinkedIn or £200 or £500, you'd probably be better off selling something for £5,000. I know that sounds ridiculous, but LinkedIn's a much more serious platform. It's more business orientated. So you need to think about that actually it's the same amount of effort, it's the same amount of work to sell a 500 quid product as a £5,000 product. Then I want you to think about how many inquiries do you need to meet your budget, your target, whatever that is. So if your target is 6 sales a month, how many inquiries do you need to achieve 6 sales? Do you convert 50% of your inquiries? Is it 20%? Is it 100%? What is that level? You need to know these. If you don't know these, you can't generate any success because you don't know whether your activity is doing enough. How much time can you give to LinkedIn? Sorry, I will get you to the lead generation posts and all that stuff, but this is really important. Having trained now over 100,000 people, I can tell you that the same questions come up over and over again. And they all start here. You will never be an expert at LinkedIn for your business. You will never be able to generate the level of revenue you want from LinkedIn if you can't put the time in. So it's really important that you go, actually, my goal is 6 sales this month with an average of £5,000. How much time are you prepared to give to get your 6 sales for your six sales at £5,000? How much time? I'll tell you the answer, but you might be fazed by the answer. But I'm being straight with you. It might take you 6 or 7 hours a week to begin with. And as you get used to it, you can do it quicker because you learn the skills of using LinkedIn and writing posts and building relationships in a very particular way, so you can actually bring that down. And I've got a group of salespeople now. Their sales target is £9 million, 20 people, £9 million over 12 months, and they're down to probably less than an hour a day. Less than an hour a day to do that. But it's taken them probably 6 months to get it down to an hour. They started about an hour and a half a day. So how much time can you give? Because it's really important. There is no silver bullet. There's a lot of work, but once you get that work done, it gets easier. And the good thing about LinkedIn, the brilliant thing about it is there's a compounding effect. So whilst it might be hard today, in 6 months' time, it's much easier and more people know you, so the sales process gets easier. Where people go wrong is they're so inconsistent, they never build up any traction, they never build up any awareness, never build any relationships, or they build a load of relationships, check out for 3 months and then come back, and it doesn't work. So what's your goal with LinkedIn? Are you ready? This is what your goal is. Your goal is to have more conversations with interested prospects. That's it. It's not to sell on LinkedIn. I know this I know this webinar or webcast is titled that, but actually your goal is not to sell on LinkedIn. Can everybody hear me okay? My mic just dropped. So your goal is to have conversations with interested prospects. That's what it is. Prospects who need a solution and prospects who need you. So I'm going to talk you through this strategy and how you're doing it, but you need to have noted down all of those things that I've just asked you to note down. So they were, just to recap, how much is a sale worth? What's your target sale you're going to make? Just as an aside, if you're going to say it's £1 million, I have done £1 million deals with clients through LinkedIn, or started them from LinkedIn, get into a conversation and go onto video calls and conversations. But the cycle to convert one is a lot longer than a £5,000 sale. I know I'm teaching you things that are obvious, but I just want to make you clear with that. So how much is a sale worth? If you're selling something for 500 quid, honestly, with LinkedIn, you might as well sell something for 5,000. I know that sounds strange, but it's just the same amount of work. How many inquiries do you need? So you know, if I need 10 inquiries to make 5 sales, brilliant. How much time can you give? Probably an hour and a half a week, something like that to begin with, but you can get that down once you're a bit more familiar with the platform and it becomes more natural to you. What's your goal? It's conversations. Yeah. I always say to people, remember, it's conversation before consideration. What do I mean by that? What you see on LinkedIn is people churning and firing out messages, trying to say, hey, buy my stuff. Hey, do you want to know about this? Do you want to know about that? What they're doing is they're trying to get the customer to consider whether they need them, when actually what you're trying to do is create a conversation with the customer, a two-way conversation, so that you can give them, they will give you the time of day so that you can explain your full value and offering in detail. So that's what you're trying to do. So you want prospects who need a solution. So let me just ask you, what's the big benefits of your product or service? Cue number 1 for our team. I have a worksheet I'll share with you, which will help you understand the big benefits you can deliver. And we use a profile, we use a worksheet called the One Client Profile. It helps you understand the challenges and frustrations that clients and prospects will have, and how your solution addresses them. So you've got a product or service, you need to know the pains and the current reality of your target customers so you can write posts, you can create conversations, and you can get the attention and intent, I'll explain this in a minute, of your prospects. Yeah. If you're looking for tutorials on how to connect and how to do all this stuff, don't worry, I'm going to share a video with you that you can get, which will do all of that. This is more about the strategy that will help you get consistent sales from LinkedIn without doing the hard sell, the annoying messages and all of that stuff. So prospects who need a solution and prospects who need a solution from you. And the majority are doing this stuff wrong. Honestly, the majority are doing it totally wrong. What they're doing is really bad practice. So they are firing out messages, blasting people with sales pitches, or they're sending connection requests and then immediately trying to sell to them in whatever way, shape or form, whether they email them, message them, call them, whatever they're doing, that's what they're doing. It does not generate a conversation. You're trying to force a sale. Now, I understand why people do it. They're eager to get a sale, but sometimes, I'm going to use a maybe inappropriate example, but it's like trying to go to the wrong base on a first date. And that's what they're doing. It's very aggressive and it won't work in the long run. And actually, we've had some long conversations with LinkedIn about this. LinkedIn are very proactive about 2 things. They don't want to damage the network. So if they find people connecting aggressively and getting lots of rejections or lots of issues, they ban them, restrict them, or throw them in jail, LinkedIn jail. The second thing is you can feel really excited about, I've just sent 150, 500 messages out to all my prospects to drum up some business. But actually on the other side, maybe only 50 of them actually got it and saw the message. Do you know why? Because when LinkedIn sees you sending lots of messages and there's an imbalance of activity in your account, what do I mean by imbalance? You're not as active on the platform in terms of posting, you're just hammering messages, or you're hammering the same messages. LinkedIn actually blocks your messages going to you people, and when they receive it, they get a little block with a message from you saying this message is harmful or spam. So they're not going to open it, they ignore it, because you're basically, LinkedIn's warning them, don't respond to this message. So people still do it, but it's really bad practice, but it feels good. Honestly, as adults, we should know that it feels good, because it feels like you've done something. You've done the wrong stuff. So how quickly can you get results from LinkedIn? I will get to the strategy in a minute, but this is really important. So this is the way I think about it. You can get, if you do your pain point post that I'm going to teach you in a few minutes, if you do your pain point post, you can have inbound inquiries tomorrow. But realistically, within 6 weeks, you can have a very healthy pipeline, very, very healthy pipeline. In 90 days, we know pretty much everybody can have a sale, unless you're selling £1 million products where there's a 6-month cycle, those kind of things. Within 90 days is a sweet spot where you can have decent, solid results. And actually, I've took a client from cold calling to LinkedIn in 3 months. So that's what we generally do. We focus on 3 months. And in 3 months, they went from no leads, no activity from LinkedIn, to 30% of it is now from LinkedIn. 30% in 3 months. 30% of their opportunities, sales, everything is coming from LinkedIn. And that's what we look to help people achieve. So here's a nice little target I want you to set. I want you to set yourself and make yourself accountable for this goal. 5 invoice sales in the first 90 days of LinkedIn activity. Don't worry, I'll send you a tutorial about how to do some of the steps, but 5 invoice sales in the first 90 days. And in fact, maybe what we can do is our team, if you want to do the strategy sessions, they'll walk you through that action plan and give you the action plan to do it. But you have to start with the right strategy, and that's what we're going to do now. So this is a stat from Foundation Inc. They published it after research that basically 62% of all of the people using LinkedIn for sales and for marketing, 62% of them are getting nothing, absolutely nothing, or negligible. It's not worth their time. But about just over a third of people are actually generating serious results. But so what's the difference in what they're doing? Well, the majority of getting no sales are inconsistent, or they're using bots to try and make sales. It doesn't work. The 38% are really building solid relationships. They're really investing in the platform to make sure that they're seen, visible, and known. So how are people using LinkedIn? The majority are just using it as a research tool to send cold messages, spammy messages, all that stuff. But what the secret is conversations. You will never close a client on LinkedIn. What you will do is start a conversation that will go to Zoom, or it'll go to email, or that's where it goes. That's your goal here. That's what your goal is trying to do. So remember, I'm just checking the comments just to see if everybody's here. Ash has just asked about bots. This is really important. LinkedIn is on a mission to kill bots. Yeah, just be aware of that. And bots cannot create a conversation. Bots cannot create a relationship. All bots do is that make you feel better that you're getting stuff out there. There's no way a bot can create a conversation, ever. Yeah? Only humans can talk to humans. And this is the bit people miss. So when I talk about conversations, there's some strategies that I teach, and I can go, actually, why are you doing a bot? You can have a conversation today. You can have a conversation with a prospect today. I sent 12 messages to my target customers 2 days ago. I've got 2 meetings booked already off those 12 messages. 2 meetings booked with senior decision makers. Not because of the way I'm doing it. You don't need hundreds of messages to get sales. You need 12, 10 of the right things. The right things. It's not a volume game. It's actually a relationship game. So let me just get back onto where I'm going. So how to do it with Never Pitch. I'm going to teach you our methodology now and show you and explain it and give you some examples of how it works. And then we'll do the lead generation post. So I'm going to flick back to this screen here. So this is what we call our methodology. So the first thing in our methodology in terms of selling on LinkedIn, really, really important, yeah, is you have to know your positioning. What does that mean? First, nobody buys from people they don't trust. Nobody. So the first thing is you've got to show up on LinkedIn, you've got to be consistent on LinkedIn, and you've got to understand the pain points of your customers and the problems, symptoms, consequences that your product or service can fix. If you email us, I'll send you the worksheet for this to help you position yourself right. It asks you a series of questions and your job is to answer them as the customer would. So you get in the customer's world to understand, why is this important? Because it will form the basis of everything else you do on LinkedIn, the conversations you start, the relationships you build, the messages you send, the posts you produce. Everything comes from the positioning. You can't say on LinkedIn, I want to sell something to anybody. You have to go, I'm going to sell this product or service. I'm going to focus in on it. I'm going to build some relationships around it, and I'm going to move forward. If you're trying to sell everything to everybody, you're going to get nowhere. You need to know the pain points, the benefits, the frustrations, the symptoms, and the consequences of particular groups of people. That doesn't mean it's one industry. It's just a common problem that they might have. Think of it like your benefits. You sell them something, whatever it is, whatever your service is, whatever your product is, you sell it to them and they get a benefit from it. What's that product or service allowing the customers to do now? So that's the first thing we get you to think about in this worksheet. Again, email us and we'll send it to you. But when we ride back from that, in order for the customer to want those benefits, what's their current reality? What's going on right now? What's the difficulties and frustrations they're dealing with that they need those benefits? So that's the worksheet. And then that forms the basis of all of our content, our messaging, and our intent pieces, which will come down the line. So that's the positioning. The next one is the roadmap. This is the workflow. This is the process you're going to take people through. So we have about 5 different workflows that you can do. And I'll show you some of them in the, if you want the replay link, I'll put the PDF of those in there too. So again, just ask us for that. So there's about 5 different workflows you can use. Please do, by the way, give us a like and a subscribe if you love the webinar. You know, it helps with the algorithms. We're all fighting algorithms these days. Now we come to attention. So attention is all about how do you get the attention of the prospects and buyers. So the first thing is you need to be building relationships. You need to be connecting with people. You can't just cold connect with people anymore. You used to be able to get away with that a couple of years ago. You can't cold connect with people anymore. If your rejection rate of connections gets too high, LinkedIn will restrict your account. If you get too many warnings about that, LinkedIn may impose a threshold on how many connections you can do per week. And if you pass that, they will put you into LinkedIn jail. And if you're a serious offender, they will block you from sending connection requests ever again. And if you manage to break the rules again, they will permanently ban you from the platform. Now, I've only ever met a few people who have been permanently banned, like a handful of them. Maybe because they don't exist, because they're not on LinkedIn. I have met a lot of salespeople who've been very active trying to sell their things and they've been permanently blocked. Now, there is a way to fix it, but you have to get on bended knee and do a lot of good practice to get it lifted. But you have to get the attention. So first of all, you need to be connected to your prospects. But LinkedIn's terms of service say don't connect to people you don't know. So go get to know them. Go find your prospects, go hunt them out on LinkedIn, and if they're posting, get to know them. If they're interacting on the platform, you interact with them. Get to know them. Deliberately build relationships. Yeah, deliberately build relationships so that you're not connecting with complete strangers. Guess what happens when you do this? Your connection rate, acceptance rate goes through the roof. LinkedIn loves you because you're using the platform properly. And so your rejection rate is very, very low. Again, don't pitch. Don't pitch. It's about relationship. And your eagerness to pitch, your eagerness to hit your target could literally scupper that relationship and end any conversation. This is really hard to hold yourself from doing this, particularly if you're used to a very aggressive sales environment or maybe a cold calling environment. You need to hold your tongue and just build the relationship. A month is a long time in social media, but an hour or 2 hours on LinkedIn is a really long time. So you need to think about how you make sure that you're building a process of building that relationship before you connect, building it after you connect, and don't pitch. If you are posting regularly, this is where your positioning now comes in, because you're now going to start to talk about the pains and problems and challenges that your customers face. Don't go into promo zone, firing out how wonderful you are, firing out your offers all the time. Just get on the platform, talk about their issues, their challenges, their frustrations. NSMS, I will answer your question. I'll come back to your question in a minute. Defy marketing, absolutely. You should build relationships, interact with people first. That's the most important thing. Relationships is what this game is about. Sales is about relationships. It's about people believing you, trusting you that you can do something for them. They're trading their money and they're trading their trust for a result. That's what they're doing. And if as soon as you forget that, you commoditize, this is really important actually. When you forget that you're trading a result for money effectively, you commoditize your product or service. So if you're firing out messages saying, hey, do you need SEO, a mobile app, marketing services, PPC, weight loss, help with your libido, everything's on LinkedIn now, by the way, libido issues, all that kind of stuff. Do you want to find the perfect partner? Do you want to go on and anything? It's all there. All they're doing is commoditizing something. Yeah, they're looking for people who are looking for that. It's a commodity. When you start to go here with the positioning, you're talking value, you're talking a result, you're talking about the challenges they're facing. That's value selling, which is a completely different ball game. So your roadmaps, your processes and your workflows, your sales process effectively for LinkedIn. Now we come to the attention. This is the content, connecting, building relationships, producing the content that we've said. Now this is the bit most people don't get on LinkedIn, really don't get. Intent. We call it intent or intent-based prospecting or intent-based marketing, whatever you want to call it. It's whereby you put content out there deliberately for your prospects to get them to bite. They resonate with the pains and challenges, and so they bite. And if you do it right, bite right, they will message you, inbound message you, or they will engage with the post. That's what you're trying to do. They will inbound message you or engage with the post. Now, I'll come to another way to do intent in a moment. One of them is to use your positioning for a LinkedIn event. The other way is to use your positioning to create what's called a smart link. And if you go to my YouTube channel or email us, we'll send you the video tutorial on a smart link. But the key is to use them to find the interest level of the prospect and then leverage that to develop the conversation. Every client has to have a problem they want to fix for you to make a sale. Every client. It's just fact. So if you can find that, you can have a conversation that's more value-centric. You can have a conversation that leads to more meetings, more sales, and more results. And then the final thing in our strategy is the results, the action plan. What are the things you have to do? You've got to get your relationships up. You've got to get connections. You've got to spend the time posting. You've got to do follow-ups. You've got to engage with people. All the actions you need to do. And this is a process we've implemented with FTSE company. We've implemented it with a company that's, for an example, 20 salespeople. They've got a target this year of £9 million worth of sales from LinkedIn. And we're working on this same process. And then in our accelerator program, we've got individual businesses, small business owners, also working to their own goal in 3 months. So it's all built on this same process. And interestingly enough, we had a coach come on our program. He adopted this process, which is very much light. It feels quite light. It doesn't feel pushy at all to the other side, the prospects. And he, in 3 months, has done 2 live LinkedIn events and built his network by 1,000 potential customers. And I think he's about, I double check, but he's about 30 grand up in 3 months. But it's by doing a process that's relational. The value of your business is based on the number of relationships you've got. So finally, this is the process and how it looks in real life. So I've taken some screenshots and things and showed you, and then we'll do the lead generation process. Who's your target customers? I put some big names up here just to give you a flavor, but who are the target customers you want? Do you have specific companies in mind? Who are they? Who are the people you want? So that's the first thing you need to know. Who are you going after to sell what? Value proposition matters. Who do you need to be friends with? And I mean friends here because it's about building the relationships. I've not made a mistake in Facebook. You can connect with somebody, but you need to build a relationship with somebody, and that's about doing the work. And I know some of you got questions about people who don't post. That's about doing the work to build those relationships. Are you mapping those relationships? Are you mapping? So if you want to work with HSBC, I'm just using common examples. Who are the key people in that business that you need to build the relationships with? Is it one person? Is it 10 people? Is it 3 people? Are they based in London? Are they based in Manchester? Are they based in the US? Who are those key people? Now, this might be one company, but it might be 100 companies. You need to map the accounts, and that's where LinkedIn Sales Navigator comes in really, really well. Then you need to be known by your prospects. This is where the lead generation post that I'm going to show you in a second comes in. And then it's attention. Yeah, posting consistently, posting to optimize will get you lots of visibility. The more often you post, the more frequent you post, the more consistent you post, the more likely you are going to get visibility, and you can see it. You can see it on your posts. I've got a prospect that I'm going after, a large company at the moment, and I agreed with a team here, we were going to go after this company. And in the space of 3 weeks, every post that company is now seeing, because I've changed the messaging based on my positioning. I've changed the posts based on my positioning. And so I see them every single day looking at my posts. I see them looking at my profile. And so I can see and test their intent level and interest level. So attention, posting consistently about your value proposition. Just by the way, your value proposition and your product are 2 different things. Yeah. Your value proposition is the difference you can make. The product is the tool to get that difference. Customers are interested in the value proposition, not so much the product. The product is the medium, the way to do it, the way to achieve it. So attention, right? Find the intent without ever pitching. So this is a really smart strategy. You can do it with smart links, but you can also do it with other tools as well. Profile views are a great way to gauge intent. Let me ask you this. How many of you have sent a message to somebody, got no reply, but then you look back on your profile views and you've seen that they've looked at your profile? What does that tell you? Well, it tells you that your message was rubbish. Honestly, it does. So you look for the intent. How can you put something out there, a resource, a lead magnet, something that can get people to see, wow, this is really useful. And then you can start to track their intent, whether it's download, whether it's smart link, whatever it is, you can do that. Create conversations with the people who need you. So off the back of all of this activity on intent, you can follow up with a conversation. I have some people I've taught this to who've never had any business experience before, and they've been able to follow this process. They've come from university and college, and I've literally gone, this is how you do it, and they can follow it and do it. When it comes to the meeting, the business owner has to do it, but anybody can do this process once they understand that it's all coming from the value proposition and moving forward. And so you can build accounts, relationships, and conversations very easily by building two-way interaction at all levels of the business and creating champions. Don't just connect. People say just connect with the customers, the people who make the decisions. Absolutely not. Connect with other people in the business too. Connect with people who are connected to the people. Connect with anybody who can influence that decision and influence that relationship you should be connecting with. So let's have a look at this hot leads gen. This is really important for content. I'm going to show you a lot in content here. And if you want the PDF of this, again, I'll share it with you. So this posting strategy will work to generate you sales and leads all by itself. You don't need to do anything else that I've just shown you. You could forget except the positioning. Except the positioning. The positioning is fundamental. So if you want this PDF, I can email it to you. Again, just email us and we'll send you it. So you can make 5 sales in 90 days just with this post. So here we go. Everybody ready? So a pain point post is, first of all, built off your value proposition, which is really important. Pain points, symptoms, consequences, results, all of those things. So you need to understand that. Then there's the structure. So the structure is this. You need to have very short sentences. You need to talk more conversational. So it needs to be very easy to read, really easy to read, like a 7-year-old could read it. Because one, LinkedIn is one of these instant platforms. It's not a long read platform per se. So posts are very much short and sweet. So it needs to be digested quickly and easily. Short sentences, not complicated sentences, really easy to read. Structure, you also need to ask lots of questions, but I'll come to why that is in future. Because what you've got to do is get people to pay attention. And we'll come back to that in a second. So the structure, short sentences, broken down into short paragraphs so it's easy to scan read. Yeah, most people are looking at these on a mobile phone, so it needs to be easy to read in short sentences. Somebody's asked a question here. LinkedIn Premium, who's asked that? Just scroll up, Jack, so I can see that. Chris Siddle, LinkedIn Premium, let me be really honest with you, is a total waste of time. Absolute, complete waste of time. You pay 40 odd quid for premium, which is basically an unlocked free. Sales Navigator, £10 difference. The amount of stuff you can do with Sales Navigator is incredible. When you're searching for prospects on premium, literally, it will throw up all sorts of randoms. So you think you're connecting with really active people, you think you're finding prospects that are going to be gold to you, and they're actually a pile of crap. Sales Navigator, and this kind of answers somebody else's questions in a minute. Sales Navigator not only allows you to find people very accurately, like down to real targeted. I could find a marketing manager within 5 miles of my postcode that works in a company with 11 or more employees. Yeah, I could do that. I can also find out how many of my prospects are active. In other words, I can pursue the more active prospects and maybe have a different strategy for the ones that aren't active. Maybe I could use them off LinkedIn, but there's other strategies for inactive accounts, or what we call lurkers, people who don't post but look at a lot of stuff. So premium, not worth the money. Sales Navigator, abso-flaming-lutely. So, got sidetracked. So structure is all about how it looks and how it flows. Yeah, simple sentences. Stopping power. The amount of people who put no effort into this stopping power is unreal. The first thing you have to do with any post is get people to stop scrolling. Stop scrolling. So that's where the first couple of lines of the post have to tease. So I always talk about who watched Line of Duty. If you're in the UK, did you watch Line of Duty on Sunday? Yeah? Did anybody watch Line of Duty on Sunday? Please put yes in the chat if you did. The one thing that Line of Duty did on Sunday is they left everybody hanging. They made a big cliffhanger of Who is Joe Davidson's DNA match? Yeah, that's what they did. They left a cliffhanger. In the stopping power, the first couple of lines of your post and the visual are to create that stopping power so people go, what's this? I need to know more. They stop scrolling. Veronica, if you didn't watch Line of Duty, maybe I could, no, I won't spoil it. So stopping power is about getting people to stop scrolling. So the visual is important to get the attention. Remember intention, visual. The first lines have to create enough mystery, but also qualify who you're talking to. So how do you use the first lines to say, this is who I'm talking to? So I've done it with the visual and the first lines. Social selling doesn't work in my industry, so I'm talking to salespeople. What a load of crap, a bit of drama. And then I've put social selling versus cold pitching. So I'm literally going after the people who cold pitch and saying there's a different way. So I'm using an example. So stopping power is all about getting people to stop in the feed. If you want to use branded stuff, just bear in mind, it will all look samey. It will all look samey. You do not want your visuals to look all samey. So you're going to have to flex a little bit on your brand because you're trying to get attention. And if you do everything that looks the same, people will think it's the same and they will ignore it. You will train people to ignore it because they'll go, that's promotional. We can spot promotion a mile off. So stopping power. Then the staying power is that curiosity is to get people to stay on the post for longer. For longer. Why do you need to get people to stay on the post longer? Well, LinkedIn's algorithm decides who sees what. If you post, it's not that your first connections will see it. LinkedIn decides who sees it. One of the ways that they decide who sees it is how long people stay on the post. If you do a post and people just scroll past and spend 1-2 seconds, your overall views on that post will be lower. If they stop for 10, 15, 20, a minute, second, whatever, minute, seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, your views will be higher. LinkedIn will show it to more people. The more you keep people active on the platform, the more LinkedIn's profile will boost your post. Yep, number one, staying power. So you have to get people to stay longer. Longer posts, PDFs. Really important. Longer posts and PDFs. People say, I want to share videos. I want to do videos of myself. Be careful with videos, and I'll tell you why. If you're going to do videos of yourself, be prepared that you need to do them short and really entertaining because LinkedIn measures videos a little bit differently and it measures how long people watch and how long the video is. So if you do a 3-minute video and people watch 10 seconds, you'll get really disappointing views. Whereas if you do a PDF and you get 10 seconds, you'll get a lot of views. So you need to bear that in mind. The longer people stay in the post, the better. Why should you do video? It's really important that people know you, recognize you, and see you. So that's really important that you focus on that and make sure people see it. I'm just checking on the time to make sure I've got it all in. So if you want this guide on how to do this, I'll send you the PDF. Just email us and we'll send it to you. So the final thing is engagement. Now, this is a bit controversial, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So engagement is likes and comments. Likes and comments are just as important as stopping power. So likes and comments, if people like and engage, it means that they resonate with what you're saying. Now, some of the lurkers will pay attention to your post, but won't want to identify with it because of what the post's messaging is about, but they'll lurk, they'll look. But likes and comments are really what make the thing work. So you need to ask more questions in your posts. Asking more questions in your posts will get people to think more. It'll get them to think it and internalize your post. Rather than just read it and move on, if you ask more questions in the posts, they will internalize the questions. The next thing is, so if you ask more questions, you're more likely to get comments. And comments and likes are triggered by emotion and feelings. We'll come to that in a moment. The controversial bit is there's a little secret on LinkedIn. It's called pods. Yeah. Some people hate them. Some people don't like them. But let me tell you the truth. If you get likes and comments on your post, it does amplify them. It does extend the reach of the post massively. It does. However, pods are no substitute for real, authentic engagement from prospects. Ever. But pods have a place sometimes, some people don't like them, in helping you get some momentum to kickstart. That's really the main benefit, the kickstart. We do have, if you're getting started, a little WhatsApp group you can join. It's free, we don't sell it. It's not there to make you look amazing and go, look how wonderful my posts are. It's there to just give you a little bit of a kickstart. Some people will like your posts and comments and you like on theirs. If you want to know more about it, just email us. There's no cost for it. It's just to help you kickstart. So go ahead and, knock yourself out on that if you want to. You will see your posts grow. But again, the key is to use your posts, grow your own network, grow your own audience, use the pain points so that you build your own crowd who hunk around, is that a word? Come round you and see that you've got value. So again, anything that you've heard tonight, email us and we'll share more information. So this pain point post, number one, no pitch. There is no pitch in this pain point post that will get you inbound leads, ever. You just tell the story of the pain, the symptoms, the consequences, and the frustrations. A very light CTA. So it could be, if you're experiencing these issues, feel free to DM me and drop me a line. People don't want to be sold to. They can tell when they're being sold to. So if you're very light and relaxed, they'll feel light and relaxed. And the post is really about pain all the way through. Remember that value Remember that value proposition I talked about where it talks about pain, symptoms, and consequences, that worksheet? Effectively, you format that into a post and you just talk about it as if it's a scenario. And when you share that as a scenario, people resonate with it. This post here that I put up got 20,000 views, so it was all right for me. But I got 15 inbound messages from people saying, I've got that problem, can you help? And we booked calls off the back. So a light CTA. The CTA on this there was no CTA at all, actually. So a light CTA. If you want to know more, drop me a line, casual. Hashtags. So I'll come back to the format of the post in a minute. Hashtags. People go wrong with hashtags, and some of you will have heard me say before, don't use the hashtags of the topic. Don't use hashtags of your industry. Think about, I want to make sure this post is seen by my target customers. What hashtags are they following? Use the hashtags your customers are following, not the hashtags of your industry. Yeah? So change the hashtags. Forget the hashtags. If you do copywriting, never use the hashtag copywriting. If you're trying to sell to copywriters, use the hashtag copywriter. If you're selling cybersecurity, forget the hashtag cybersecurity. Find out where your customers are following. Forget your industry hashtags or your topic hashtags. Forget them. 2 lines of expertise. There's only 2 lines of expertise in this post. One line is how long you've been doing this for. Yeah, something like that. I've been helping customers with this, and these are some of the symptoms I've seen. Yeah, that's number 1. The second one is, I get frustrated when I see these problems and know that somebody can get to this. Yeah, so you tell people about the results, not a brag, but they can have this result. I've seen it, I've experienced it, I've shown people how to do it. It is possible. Yeah, it's actually quite straightforward, really low key. Yeah. And the rest of the post is about the feelings and frustrations and annoyances and pains and symptoms and consequences of the customer not having your process, your system, your service, your product. Yeah, remember I said at the beginning, the positioning is everything. What's the benefits and results your service can offer? And what's the current reality? What's the challenges and frustrations they're living with? How are they thinking about that to need your product or service? And this pain point post is the way to do it. So I'm going to do questions in a minute. So there's going to be a ton of questions. So I'll come back to the main screen in a second. But I'll give you one more tip. Go to my LinkedIn. if you want to see how this works, I can send you the PDF, but go to my LinkedIn, go scroll through my posts. You'll see the pain point posts. You'll see them. They're very focused and very clear, and they stand out a mile from everything else that I post. But they get me results, and you can implement this. You can do this, and just off the post, as long as you're growing your network relationally with the right people, you do the pain point posts, you will generate inbound without ever pitching anybody. They'll come to you. Now, all the other strategies I've talked about, and I know we've gone through a shit ton of stuff. All the other stuff needs a bit of time to unpack. That's why we work on a 90-day cycle, because you have to get this all down and done. But it starts with the posts. It starts with the positioning and the posts and building relationships, growing your network. You don't have to be the perfect salesperson to get results. You just have to have positioning and the posts and the relationships to begin with. So we're pretty much experts at this stuff. We know what we're doing. We know we've got the experience to do it. So we know you can do this. You can do this. Yeah. In the accelerator, we take people from all backgrounds and they come and go, I'm not sure how to do this. They do it. So my offer to you, as well as all the free resources, if you want a free strategy call with some of our coaches, some of our team, you're more than welcome to book one in. We'll put the email there if you want to book it, and we'll help you, walk you through it. Personalized tips, profile and guidance, because there's only so much I can do here. Emma's asked some questions. Here we go. Emma, I struggle to know and create what content on a daily basis. So Emma, quick tip, content sandwich. Yep, content sandwich, really simple. One day do a business post, maybe a pain point post. Next day do something a bit more light-hearted. Anything random, share your opinion, something that's going on in your world, a BBC News article, move on. Alternate. Emma, just ask questions. So Emma, tell me what you do and maybe I can come up with one. Emma, maybe I can come up with one. If you want a free strategy call, shit ton, yeah. If you've got truckload, yes, I meant truckload. I did mean truckload. How often a week do you post? I post, you're going to hate this, probably about 10 times a week. Now, the reason I post 10 times a week is I've built quite a large following, and so I'm trying to cater to different audiences. Some people will tell you, right, I'm going to tell you the truth here. Some people will tell you, post a couple of times a week, or just post when you've got something to say. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea, and I'll tell you why. When you're posting daily, once a day, start with once a day, you'll start to learn what works and what doesn't. When you post infrequently or once every blue moon or once a week, you won't know whether it was just a good day for LinkedIn or whether it was your post. And I've shown people that if they post about key messages, they'll see that things change. And you can test your sales pitches, you can test everything through the content. John, exactly. Don't be afraid to be personal. Some of the best posts on LinkedIn are you being vulnerable, you sharing things about your life. Why is that? People buy into people. People want the relationship. They don't want corporate propaganda. They don't want all of that stuff. Yes, it's nice to share it so you can build that credibility and showcase how good you are at what you do. But actually, people want to know you. They really want to know you. How long are your posts? Hans, if I'm writing a post, I usually max it out because I'm going for the time. I did a PDF the other day and I put 13 slides in it. But if you have a look, some of the slides are quite light in detail. They're just things spread out over time. Best time for posting. David, I think you know this. My optimum time for posting, I'll give you 2 reasons why is 7 in the morning. I'll tell you why it's 7 in the morning. Number 1 reason it's 7 in the morning is because it gives my post the maximum amount of waking hours of visibility. So we all know, and you will know, the first 2 hours when a post goes up are the most critical. That's where the algorithm really judges how good this post is. Unless it goes viral, in which case it changes everything. But for the 99% of posts, the success or failure of that post is determined in the first 2 hours, because LinkedIn's algorithm's looking how many people engage in that period. And if they do, it amplifies it. So that's the first thing, 7 a.m. for that reason. Jason's got a question in a minute. So 7 in the morning for that reason. But then the other reason is it's a peak time when people are flicking on their phones. They're either they were on a commute, or they're up looking in the phone. And let me ask you a question. When you wake up in the morning, assuming you've got a partner, you wake up, you share a bed, you might have a tease made in between you, I don't know. But you share a bed, and you wake up in the morning, do you look at your other half and go, how wonderful you are, darling, husband, whoever you are, I'm so glad you're in my life? Or do you pick up your phone and see what's happened in the night? So 7 o'clock is like the commute time when people are flicking on the phones on the train, or it's actually when you're getting up in the rest of the country. Jason's asked a question here, business account as well as a personal account. Company pages, I'm not sure whether, number one, really important, Kieran's asked a question as well, maybe we can find Kieran's. Number one, company pages are important for credibility, but don't count on them to get leads. It doesn't work. Company pages are important for credibility. When it comes to your profile, you should never have more than one profile. Some people do it because they think, oh, I've got different hats and different roles. LinkedIn eventually finds you and forces you to shut one down because they don't want people creating fake profiles. So that's really important that you focus on that. We've got another question here from, let's have a look. I don't know whether anybody else has asked a question. Personal posts are good. Do I post on weekends? Yes, I do. They are hit and miss, but sometimes I got 150,000 views on one post over the weekend once, so it's pretty good. Scheduling. LinkedIn hates automation because it ruins the platform. So I would encourage you not to create your post the night before or the week before, just bob onto LinkedIn, copy and paste it out of a doc into it and get it up yourself. And again, if you want to know about the little WhatsApp group we've run, you're happy to join. There's no cost or anything, just message us and we'll send you the details. It'll give you a little bit of a kickstart while you're getting going. And that's what it's really for, give you a kickstart to get you going. So you can build your own audience, find out what works for you and build your crowd. Yeah, post a personal profile will always work. Just be aware, by the way, shares are not very good. Sharing posts is like the worst form of engagement you can get. So likes and comments are where it really matters, and dwell time, staying power, getting people to stay on the post for longer gets you more views. So if you want a personal strategy call with one of our coach team, they're not going to hard sell you. That's not how we roll, but they'll give you some tips. They'll give you a profile review. They'll walk through your profile, show you what you need to fix, and they'll give you some guidance. And again, all the resources are there for you, all free, PDFs. The only thing we ask is give us a subscribe. If somebody asks you about us and you've got value from us, tell them. Word of mouth is still the most popular marketing. So we do this to get the word of mouth. So give us a like, a follow on our company page, give us a subscribe. If you want the free strategy call, it is free. It's no catch. We're not going to put some heavy duty person on and try and pressure sell you into something. We want to help, because one day you're going to meet somebody and they're going to say, how did you do your LinkedIn? And you'll say, Maverick. And we'll say, we've got a webinar coming up, or you can do one of our programs. Cool. So that's where we're at. LinkedIn user, I can't see, but you've said personal profile company. Personal profile every single time. People buy from people. Absolutely, Marcel. If you want to do posts to pull traffic to the website, there's a couple of profile optimizations you can do to drag traffic to the website too. You can probably pull about maybe 200 views from your profile a month easily without doing anything. If you book a call, they'll talk to you how to do that. Absolutely, links in posts, fine. But if you're too hard sell, people will ignore it. It's only the people who really, really, really desperate will look it. But, you know, cool. Any other questions? So, final recap. If you want the free profile review, email us and we'll book you in for a time. Email us quickly, though, because, you know, I've literally got 200 people here and we've got 5 LinkedIn coaches. 500 people, sorry, 500 people across all channels. So book in quickly, otherwise this could be a problem. Curtis, Josh, Terry, Jay, you're going to be working nights, I think. So that's fine. If you want the PDF resources, the positioning resource, the lead generation template document where you can see how we wrote the post, absolutely we'll send them to you. And all we want is, if you've got value from it, Trustpilot, subscribe to YouTube, like wherever you're watching this, follow wherever you're watching this. That will be good for us. That's good for us. Defy marketing. It used to be that pulling away from the platform was an issue. No longer anymore, because you'll find that they keep you in their own browser. So if you recall, Facebook did this and LinkedIn's now doing this, where you click a link and they keep you in LinkedIn's app all the way through. So when you close it, you come back to LinkedIn. Anybody seen this? This is the way it works. They keep you in there. When you attempt to connect with someone you don't know, what should you add to your note to make them want to add you? So Leo, go interact with them first, and then you can say, I'm really enjoying the comment. If you've had a conversation in the comments, it's easy. It's easy. But be honest with them. So I send connection requests. I interact with people beforehand, and I say, I promise I'm not going to send you a sales pitch. Just want to get to know my network and build my network outside of my little bubble. And I get probably about 60% acceptance rate. Why? Because I've done the work beforehand and I've promised them I'm not going to pitch them. Yeah, Marcel, book a call. Just email us. We'll send a round robin email maybe tomorrow sometime, but we'll deal with it first come, first serve, just because I didn't realise. Well, I knew there was going to be a lot, but normally with a webinar, people don't show up. But 500 people across all channels, I've just created a shitstorm. But we'll go through everybody. We'll go through everybody. So please go do this. There's nothing worse than people coming back to me 3 months later and I go, have you done anything? And they go, no. It works. It's not the only answer to sales, but it is a big chunk of the answer. You can use cold calling, you can use all of the other things. This is the easiest thing if you're not comfortable with, you know, more direct selling. So I'd encourage you to try it, book your call. If you want to know more about what we do and how we can help you implement it, get results in 90 days, fine. If not, just give us the reviews and tell people we're wonderful. Right, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week with a different session. So if you want to check out our company page and our Eventbrite links, you can go find some other free training. We do them every single week, free. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on LinkedIn.